Hello Vineland, welcome to Coach's Corner. My name is Don Robbins. I'm Athletic Director here at Vineland High School. Coach's Corner is where we highlight our athletic programs. Today we're joined by some members of our high school tennis team and assistant coach Vince Luciano. Ladies, Mr. Luciano, welcome to Coach's Corner.
Hey, Mr. Robbins.
How you doing today?
Good.
Good. We had a great season this year, still in the midst of the season, a few matches left. But we wanted to start off by highlighting our entire program, and I'll start with Coach Luciano. As everybody knows that participates in sports on any level, whether it be in high school or elementary school level or middle school level or rec ball, it doesn't just happen during the season. It starts prior to the season. So Coach, why don't you tell us a little bit about your preparation, and Mr. Massaro, Dom Massaro is the head coach of the program. Between you and Mr. Massaro, the preparation that went in to creating this championship season. By the way, if I didn't mention in our header, girls tennis team was South Jersey Group 4 champions this year. Congratulations, Coach. How does it all begin?
You know, it's a great question. Most of the time, tennis seasons are won in the off season, and you know the girls are usually start to prepare right after November 1st. Tess usually takes a month off. She goes into her tournaments. We always, you know, Kara worked with her father, and she was a big cog this year, but usually they off-season USTA play. You know, we really can't work with them. And in summertime, we have a nice camp, a couple weeks in the mornings. Okay. And I mean, it's not a lot of time, but this year, it's just the stars aligned. Paid off.
Now, I noticed something happened this year. Of course, we have Tess Fisher with us here today, and hopefully everybody knows Tess as a tennis player and a student athlete at Vineland High School. But I noticed Tess, in her 4 years, she's a senior now, working hard in the off season in the weight room. We actually filmed this program in the weight room at Vineland High School. But this year something was different, and I'm sure it contributed to the team's success. Tess wasn't alone this off season in the weight room. There was members of the team with her. Tess, maybe talk a little bit about the weight training program and what helps in that area.
Yeah, well, the weight training program here at Vineland is really amazing. There's great instructors, and you get to work on anything that'll just help your game out by getting stronger, doing footwork, agility, strength training, and that just all helps with your on-court play. Doing things off-court is just as important as hitting a tennis ball, I feel like.
Good. Tess is joined today by her teammates Sakshi Thakkar and Kachinski. They are second doubles team members. We're going to talk about their contribution to the South Jersey Championship in just a bit. But girls, do you take advantage of off-season weight training and things of that nature?
I have like a couple times, but not that much.
Okay. Now the young lady sitting to your left, Tess, obviously, for those of you that don't know, was a state champion this year, won the state individual championship. How inspirational is having a player like Tess on your lineup, on your team?
Yeah, it's just amazing to have somebody like on the court, as special as she is, always getting us a point, but off the court, just an amazing friend overall.
Okay. Tess, heading to Rutgers University next year. Going to play in the Big Ten.
Yes.
Play a little tennis over there, but I guess I'll start with Sakshi. Your impressions of the overall season. I mean, again, we have the Cal Championships left, which involves Tess playing in the Cal Finals. And then we have Millville in an upcoming match, and that'll conclude our season. But Sakshi, your impression overall of the season, the championship?
It was a lot. Like, it was so much fun, especially to do with all the seniors. And like me and Kara are the only two juniors, so I'm glad that like we got to do it with all of them before they leave. And it was a lot of pressure, but it was fun.
Right. Coach, Sakshi and Kara coming back next year, both juniors this year, coming back, had a great experience at Egg Harbor Township. That South Jersey Championship comes down to the final point, and these two young ladies were involved in it. Now that they have that experience under their belt, coming back for a senior campaign, I mean, what does that mean for the future of the program?
Oh yeah, they're battle tested. Because I'll tell you, me and Don were about worthless in that match. We were so nervous, and their faces were rocks. I was impressed because neither one have been in that kind of a match, but man, they came through, and you can't pay or put you in a situation like that. You have to earn that position. Tess has a saying about pressure that she could tell you, but you know you can't recreate that, and the fact that you came through is unbelievable and amazing for the Vineland High School tennis team.
All right, so I'm going to try to frame this up, that we get to the South Jersey Championship, and the finals are at EHT, and we're playing EHT, which is another Cape Atlantic League school, which is an amazing thing for the league, for the Cape Atlantic League, to have two Cal schools playing for the South Jersey Championship. And only the second time Vineland's won the South Jersey title. Tess, of course, is on court 1 or court 5, depending on how you look at it, at Egg Harbor Township. And her match ends kind of early. So Tess gets the first point for the team. And then Tess, maybe take us forward through the progression of it, how it ended up with these two young ladies clinching the title for Vineland.
Yeah, well, after I got done my match, I knew that I just had to get behind some courts and start cheering on girls, because that's what really gets everyone motivated, is having the support from the team. And then after my match, who was that after me?
It was TT. Or,
No, Rhea. Rhea was done.
So Rhea lost that one, so then it's 1-1 at that point. And then first doubles won, so then we're up 2-1. And then TP, our third singles lost, so it's 2-2. And then it comes down to our second doubles.
Okay, so again, to frame it up for people at home that maybe aren't familiar with high school tennis, you need 3 points to win the match. You would win 3-2. And so it's tied 2-2. And second doubles are the only match still going on. Yes, ladies?
Yeah.
Why don't you pick it up from there? Actually, Vince, why don't you tell us?
well, I mean,
We win the first set.
We won the first set, I thought,
Right.
rather easily at both doubles. And I said, man, I went over and I even told Tess, I said, Tess, I want this team to hear you yelling. Because when she gets going, the team gets behind. We win first doubles very easily, second doubles drops the second set in a tiebreaker, and then those old feelings start to creep back in me. And with Sarah, we start to like, oh no, here we go. You know, it's just going to happen to us. We're right here. And, you know, they jump up 3-0 in the third. And I could see the look on their face, and I was like, man, they're not feeling this as much as we are. Me and Don were dying. We were sick. We were sick to our stomachs. There's about 150 people there. 3 newspapers are tweeting it live and getting texts. And the kids pull through. I think it went to 5-4-3, 5-3. They did creep up a little bit, and then they knocked them off 6-3.
Yeah, there was a point there where you could see it. Particularly, I remember in my mind watching Kara at the net, and she had this cross-court shot she just kept hitting time over and over again, and it just kind of went in between the EHT players. And Kara, is that something you and Sakshi worked out prior to the match, or is it just something you saw as an opening during the match?
Well, it was just kind of, it just came down to us, so we had to just get out there and just lay it all on the court.
And grind.
Yeah.
That was a grind.
I'll tell you what, there was a shot that you hit down the baseline on the left side of the court, and when you hit that shot, I kind of just saw it in both your eyes that the match was over. Like your whole, you know, you could see the confidence come into you, and you were like, oh, not today.
Right, they were smiling, and I've seen them in matches this year where they got tight and just kind of crumbled against lesser teams. And we were playing a very good second doubles that was undefeated, I think, to that point.
Correct.
And the smiles, and I see you laughing. I was like, I think they're going to be okay. And they were. So, you know, it worked out for us. But, man, I'll tell you, we haven't done that since 05. In 05, I knew we were going to win. This came out of nowhere, and that's what makes it even more special.
So, girls, you're the clinching point for the South Jersey Championship. It's a historic day for Vineland. I mean, how does that feel in school, around town? I mean, what's the feeling about there?
It feels really good because, like, to know that you got that point and, like, helped Vineland win, like, everyone, like, knew you and everyone congratulated you, but, like, we wouldn't have gotten through it without our team. Like, everyone was behind a court and there was so much support, like, the whole time. So that's, like, why we were smiling the whole time.
Yeah,
It's like, they kept
really
touching us
helps.
on.
How cool is it that you have this support? I mean, even, well, you know, Tess goes up to the state finals. Tess plays in the Cape Atlantic League Championship. You see the football team out there. You see the field hockey team out there. You see coaches from other sports. You go to EHT, as Mr. Luciano mentioned, there's 150 people there. It's real. Unfortunately, it's a rare thing in high school tennis, but for Vineland, it's not. So it's really neat. I mean, how important is that? Does that give you the energy to follow through?
I think so.
Definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
they played at that point 12 matches at Harbor, and I don't think they were ready mentally or, you know, as a team to look behind them and see that many people in newspapers when we travel. I mean, you know, Tess is basically a movie star at this point in her career. We turn around, there's tons of people and tons of newspapers. I don't think it bothered us that much, and I think we fed off that. And them, I think that caused them to crumble a little bit. No, we were battle hardened. We were ready.
Cool. So congratulations on that team South Jersey Championship. I know more accolades to come. Tess, let's talk about you and your career a little bit. 4-year, #1 tennis player for Vineland High School. I'm going to try to make sure I don't leave anything out of your accolades. A 4-time South Jersey champion, a 3-time Cape Atlantic League champion. Knock on wood, the finals will be held at Vineland High School tomorrow. To possibly be a 4th-time Cape Atlantic League champion, and this year finally an overall state champion. Can you sum that up into words, how that goes on? Or
It feels amazing. Like, winning the South Jersey tournament as a team was awesome, amazing, felt great, and the state championship was just like icing on the cake. It just made everything better.
So I have certain rules. Like when I sit around with my friends and we talk about like people talk about football, like NFL football, and they say, "Oh, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time." And I try not to get involved in those conversations because you can talk about Brady, you can talk about Elway, you can talk about different players, but to be in the conversation of the greatest player of all time, I think is an honor. And again, it's hard to say this person was the best ever. But Tess, I have to say, as a person watching high school tennis, the greatest player in the history of the state of New Jersey, guys or girls, you are certainly in the conversation. How do you, has that sunken in yet with you? Or I mean, do you realize that, I mean, when you finish your career in a couple of days here, you're going to have more wins, individual wins, than any player, boy or girl, in the history of the state of New Jersey. Is that, like, how incredible is that? I mean, it's incredible for me just to say that. I'm sitting next to you, you know? Like, describe it.
It feels amazing. I mean, coming in freshman year, I never had the goal of well, I mean, I always had the goal of trying to win states and everything, but I never really thought of it that it could go this far, and it just feels really good.
Right. I mean, just the state finals, we go up to Mercer County Park where they play the state finals, and if you have been there, you probably saw it on Channel 9. Jane Missouri and her crew did a great job filming it that day. But it's almost like a stadium. It's a half stadium for tennis, and Tess was on court 1 playing, and 150, 200 people from Vineland are up there, coaches, administrators, student athletes. Coach Luciano brought a spirit bus up there, and it was packed with student athletes, of course, members of the tennis team. Tess, I can see, I don't even have to ask this question, I can see that you feed off of that.
Oh, definitely.
But having that support and that love, the amount of students and people that just admire your game and your dedication, and I think Coach Luciano and Coach Massaro said that very few kids get exactly what they deserve, but you got it that day. You deserved it. You worked so hard for 4 years. Can you summarize that, how that feels for you? Or,
yeah, it feels great, and it definitely would not have happened without all the support from Vineland. That's something that definitely gets me through the matches. Having cheering going on pumps me up and gives me intensity. And when I have intensity and I'm up, that's normally when I do well.
Hey, you're pretty tense. You're pretty tense that day. So let's one more thing, Tess, and then I'll let you off the hook here. You went to Ellison School. Mm-hmm. Your senior class, your 8th grade graduating class at Ellison School was what, 12 kids?
16 people. That was one of the biggest classes at Ellison.
Right, so 16 people. And then Tess Fisher comes to Vineland High School with 700 freshmen and just blossom and find yourself and do well academically, terrific academically, earned a scholarship to Rutgers University for tennis, but also could have earned scholarships for academics. I mean, your academics, all the tennis team, all 3 girls up here, off guard, just terrific academically. But to come from that small environment and then to come here, it's like a total shift. How was that experience? I mean, did you have anxiety at the time? I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I guess I'll ask all 3 girls, if you're out here and you're an 8th grade girl sitting on the couch watching this, and you say, man, someday I want to be like Sakshi. I want to go to Vineland High School, and I want to get to hang out with Mr. Robbins. He seems really cool. What would you say to that young lady as a word of advice? As far as academics, as far as athletics, as far as the transition, in any school, whether you go from 12 students or 700 students, or that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade is stressful for every little guy or girl. What would be your word of advice to that young lady?
Honestly, I really like coming to Valentine because there's so many people, and it's a really good environment. You can meet so many different kind of people, and we have so many clubs and sports that it's just a great school to go to, so you'll get used to it eventually. Like when I first came, I was like kind of nervous because there's so many people, and I didn't know anyone in my classes at first because I came from Roxy and I didn't have classes with my friends then, but then I met everyone and now I know a lot more people, so it's just you'll get used to it eventually.
How about you, Karen?
Honestly, just go for it. Like, I thought high school was going to be so much fun, and honestly, it is.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
What middle school did you go to?
Memorial.
Okay. Did you feel that anxiety from that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, or are you just like, I'm ready for this?
A little bit. I was just very excited just to come to high school and play sports and.
Now, how important do you think, Kara, was academics to your success in high school? I mean, how do you balance all these things? I mean, the tennis team played 37 matches this year. We're weight training, we're doing academics. How do you balance all those things?
It is a lot, but I do find time because my parents always push me. They're like, tennis is number one right now for 3 months, but they're always there to say, hey, just get your schoolwork done and stuff. But
we know we're high academic, and over the years, me and Don have always tried to give them some days off, just to do some homework, go talk to friends, and we think that helps. A little bit of rest and getting their mindset on just getting their homework out of the way helps them play better. And I do that with the boys team also.
Yeah, particularly with your sport, Vince, Mr. Luciano, a lot of weekends. A lot of traveling, a lot of tournaments. So if they have projects, if they have homework,
constant.
You can't just say, hey, do it on Saturday for a project. And I notice a lot of times student athletes getting on the bus with the tennis team, they got the tennis bag and they got the book bag.
Right, we all, bus is fine to do work, and when Tess came, our weekends definitely shifted. We're spending every week at Mercer County Park, which is not close, as you know. Donnie rode the bus with me the other day. 2 hours away every weekend, bringing her up back and forth, and it compounds. So we try to give them as much time as you can with it, and it worked. We won a South Jersey title with this formula, so we're going to stick with it.
Again, Coach Luciano is the assistant coach for the girls program. He's the head coach with the boys program in the spring. Don Massaro is our head coach in the fall for the girls program, and he's Vince's assistant in the springtime. But I would be remiss, both Mr. Luciano and Mr. Massaro teach at Vineland High School. Mr. Massaro teaches Vineland High School North, the 910 building, the Tanner building. And he had class today at the time we were filming this, but I would be remiss, girls, if I didn't ask you how important Mr. Massaro was to the run that we had this year, and to just his level of professionalism and encouragement.
Calmness.
I was thinking the EHT match, another thing that rings in my head is that it was on a Tuesday, and he did not want to play on Monday because he said, I got to work with the doubles teams on this Monday. And I'm like, wow, it's almost November, and you need to work with your doubles teams. And then I'm standing there watching the match, and it comes down to the doubles. I'm like, Don knows a little bit about what's going on here. So I guess, girls, words about Mr. Massaro and his encouragement.
He knows what we need all the time, because the only way we really got through that match was lobbing, because those girls have really good strokes, so we just had to lob the whole time. And at practice, that's what we did the main time, and he knew that's how we were gonna win. So that practice really helped a lot too. And when he's really calm, when we split sets, he talked to us for a little bit, and so did Luciano, and they just told us you need to get through this and be calm about it, and then that helped a lot too.
Tess, how about you going to the state finals? I know Mr. Massaro's down there talking to you in between. And how about his level of encouragement for you?
Yeah, it's tremendous. Off of what Sakshi's saying, I haven't met someone that knows the game more than him. He knows it so well front to back, and being in the tight situations and stuff, he knows exactly what needs to be done, and he tells you that, and it works. And I've experienced that the past 4 years with him.
So one last word about Coach Massaro. I go trick-or-treating with my son on Saturday, and I walk by Mr. Massaro's house, and there is a scarecrow on the front. Who's responsible for putting the scarecrow on Coach's front lawn? It was a scarecrow of a tennis player with a tennis racket that said "State Champions, Vineland High School." Was that a team effort, or was somebody in particular responsible for that?
Probably Silverstein. I don't know. He sent me a picture. I was laughing. I
Yeah.
had no clue.
It was hysterical. And he stuck it in the flower bed with pride. He left it up on
Yeah, he left it. It's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, girls, thanks for stopping in. Coach, thanks for stopping in. Coach's Corner.
Hopefully we can do this again. Win another title. Yeah, absolutely.
For those of you watching at home, thanks for watching Coach's Corner. For information on Vine High School athletics, you can always go to capeatlanticleague.org, click on Vineland, and then you click on the sport or sports that you want to see for upcoming Vine High School events. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you out of the game.